Hi guys. Good morning. It's daytime right now, and I'm on break. So I thought I was just gonna spend time, being weird, being weird again, and recording myself. So, yeah, actually, this one that I am going to share with you is something that happened past midnight, past midnight earlier. I woke up, and I don't know what got in my mind. What's gotten into my mind that I thought, um, why not make why not make AI analyze my handwritings? I think I've had that fascination before when I was still in school, but I forgot about it already. So it's graphology. They call it graphology. And so yeah, past midnight, and I'm thinking about these things. And yeah, I did it. Okay. That time I woke up, I wrote down something, on my to-do list. I wrote down something. So, uh, whenever I remember something, I just really find time to write it down because I tend to forget them. You know? And so that time I wrote them, and then that's when I thought, why not make AI analyze handwritings? So I did it. I mean, I just took a photo of my handwritings. Yeah, this is my handwritings. So yeah, I sent it to him. I sent it to this AI, and then this is what his analysis is like.
As requested, I can offer a graphological analysis of this handwriting sample. Keep in mind that this is based purely on the principles of graphology, which is considered a pseudoscience as previously noted, and is only an interpretation of visual characteristics, not a scientifically validated psychological assessment. Graphological analysis. This analysis is based on examining the size, slant, spacing, pressure, and letter forms visible in the image. 1. Pressure and intensity. Analysis. The writing shows heavy to firm pressure. The dark, thick lines indicate the pen dug firmly into the paper. Interpretation. Heavy pressure often suggests high energy, intensity, and vitality. The writer likely possesses strong feelings and has a forceful will or determination. They tend to be highly involved in their actions and commitments. 2. Size and form. Analysis. The overall size is medium to large, and the letter forms are angular rather than round. Interpretation. Large size points to an outgoing, extroverted nature and may indicate ambition or a desire to be noticed. Angular forms
I got
suggests a
confused.
critical, determined, or possibly aggressive approach. The writer may be very focused on task completion and may be prone to directness or stubbornness. 3. Slant and connection. Analysis. The writing is mostly upright or slightly left-leaning, and the connections between letters are broken. Print script. Interpretation. Upright/left slant indicates that the writer may tend to be emotionally controlled or guarded in their expression of feelings. They may prioritize logic or control over immediate emotional response. Print script/broken connections suggests an individual who thinks carefully and may analyze a situation before acting. They value clarity, separation of ideas, and self-reliance. 4. Spacing and margins. Analysis. Word spacing appears relatively wide and consistent. Top/left margin. The writing is placed with a relatively small margin on the left. Interpretation. Wide word spacing may indicate that the writer needs personal space and may be cautious or deliberate about engaging with others. Small left margin suggests a strong desire to get to the point and move forward quickly, an impatience with the past or a drive for immediate action. Overall personality profile. Graphological view. The combination of traits suggests a person who is energetic, focused, and determined. Heavy pressure, angularity. This is likely an extroverted individual, large size, who is highly intellectual or analytical, print script, but maintains emotional control and a need for personal space. Upright/left slant, wide spacing. They likely approach life and communication directly and forcefully, prioritizing clear thought and action. Would you like me to compare this handwriting sample to other known personality models, such as the Big Five ocean traits, through the lens of graphology?
So That's how AI saw me, through my handwritings. So in ways, some resonated with me, and some it's confusing actually. Well, they say graphology is kind of a pseudoscience. I guess this personality tests and things related to this is, we can't really, we can't really um, we can't really treat them as the end thing. We ourselves know ourselves. So, well, it says here that I'm hard-headed. I'm stubborn, So I'll take this into consideration, and to how I am reacting to this analysis right now. So, it's asking me if I wanted to compare it to another personality model, and yeah, I said yes. Yes, please do that. So this is what the AA said.
Of the handwriting sample through the lens of the Big Five personality traits of Ocean, as commonly mapped out in graphology. Remember, these are graphological interpretations, not scientifically proven correlations. Graphological mapping to the Big Five Ocean traits. Graphology attempts to map handwriting features to the established psychological framework of the Big Five: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. 1. Extroversion E. Features supporting high extroversion. Large writing size and firm pressure often correlate with being outgoing, assertive, and energetic. Features suggesting moderation/introversion. The upright/slightly left slant and somewhat guarded letter formation suggest the energy is controlled, meaning the writer might be selectively outgoing. The angularity in the letter forms and the heavy pressure can suggest a tendency toward being critical, competitive, or less overtly compliant. Interpretation. Likely scores average to slightly lower on agreeableness, suggesting someone who values honesty and directness over always seeking harmony. 3. Conscientiousness, C. Features supporting high conscientiousness, the clear structure, relatively even baseline, though only briefly visible, and consistent letter sizing point toward organization, discipline, and responsibility. The print script demands conscious effort, indicating focus. Interpretation. Likely scores high on conscientiousness. This writer appears goal-oriented, reliable, and disciplined, valuing structure and getting tasks done, reinforced by the firm pressure. 4. Neuroticism, emotional stability. N. Features supporting low neuroticism, high stability. A generally stable baseline, as far as visible, and controlled slant are classic indicators of emotional stability and resilience. Features suggesting high neuroticism. The heavy pressure can sometimes be interpreted as underlying tension or strong emotion that requires firm control. Interpretation. Overall, the visual structure suggests good emotional control and stability, though the intensity, pressure, implies they feel things deeply. 5. Openness to experience. O. Features supporting openness. Openness is often linked to features like complexity or unconventionality. Features suggesting low openness. The adherence to a clear, structured, print-like style suggests a reliance on established methods and clarity rather than abstract exploration. Interpretation. Likely scores average or slightly lower on openness. The writer seems more grounded in practical application, reframing your self-talk, than in purely abstract or unconventional thinking. In summary, the graphological analysis points toward a highly organized, energetic, and determined individual who controls their emotional output while being focused on practical goals. Would you like me to perform a focused analysis on one specific letter form, like the formation of the letter R or G, if you can describe it in detail?
Okay. So I told AI that somehow I don't agree with how its analysis works. So this is what what it said.
Very insightful observation. It's common for handwriting analysis systems like Graphology to sometimes present profiles that contrast with what someone perceives their current cognitive style, like MBTI, to be. Since you are asking me to interpret my own handwriting analysis, based on the handwriting in the image you uploaded, here is a summary of the profile I derived. The graphological profile summary, based on the image. The analysis of the sample you provided suggests a personality that is energetic and driven, indicated by heavy pressure and large writing size. This suggests high internal drive and strong feelings. Controlled and logical, shown by the upright slash slightly left slant in the print-like slash disconnected style, suggesting a preference for control, logic, and careful communication over purely spontaneous emotional expression. Disciplined and practical, evidenced by the clear structure and the adherence to defined shapes, correlating highly with conscientiousness. Direct and critical, suggested by the angular letter formations. Why this might seem opposite to your current MBTI. If your current MBTI profile leans heavily toward traits like introversion I, intuition N, feeling F, or perceiving P, the graphological reading might seem contradictory because 1. Graphology versus cognition. Graphology focuses on behavioral expression and underlying drives as reflected in motor skills, whereas MBTI focuses on cognitive processes, how you take in information and make decisions. They measure different things. 2. Control versus preference. The handwriting might show evidence of the control you exert, e.g., forcing yourself to be structured, high conscientiousness in graphology, rather than your natural preference, which MBTI captures. For example, an introvert might write with heavy pressure because they feel things intensely, even if they express that energy internally. 3. Context of writing. The sample appears to be notes on a list, reframing your self-talk. If you are writing notes or to-do lists, you might automatically adopt a more structured, direct, and controlled style. High C, low A in graphology, because the goal is efficiency, regardless of your core personality type. To explore this further, could you tell me what your current MBTI type is? Knowing your MBTI profile might help us hypothesize why the graphological traits, like the high perceived conscientiousness or low perceived agreeableness, might be appearing in this specific handwriting sample.
Okay. So yeah, I stopped there. I haven't. It excited me. It made me feel excited earlier to just reveal my MBTI personality to this app. But then I stopped myself because I thought maybe I can discover it with during me recording. So before I asked him, before I tell him my MBTI, so it's just I was contemplating. After I hear those, I'm laying down, and my mind just can't sleep. Naturally, because it's like it's trying to analyze, it's trying to make sense of all the things this AI told me about my handwritings. So yeah, some thoughts came in my mind, like the extroversion, about the use of logic, um, most especially because with the conscientiousness and with the structure, I have learned to do that along the way. I've been disorganized as well before, but in ways because I need to be more conscientious and organized with work because it makes work easier. So I've acquired that. I have practiced that. Of course, I failed, and I've messed up a lot of times, but I was able to do it naturally over time. And with the extroversion thing, yeah, maybe because I was regarded as a social butterfly when I was in school. Because I can get along with um somehow with a lot of people. Like I can be in this group, and I can get along with this group. Like I can just jump from one group to one group. So yeah, and it actually enriched my experience and my thoughts about people. Like to I have this groups in college. Of course, when you're in college, there are groups. Even in high school, actually. I guess it happens generally at any level. So yeah, in college there is a group that's like the cool kids, the one that's just laid back and in survival mode as well. Of course, we're all in survival mode during college. And then there's another group there that's competitive, that's very diligent, and they do good in school. They do good in their grades. They do good. They're competitive. So I can jump from one to another, and it's like yeah, that's what well, I was I also I already thought that's not really like, I can't see a lot of people, doing that and pulling that off. So I thought, I'm like, okay, let me research about it, and I try to understand how it works. So it's the term, it's the social butterfly, and there's another term like social chameleon. That's just, I learned that just recently. So they're like two synonymous term for a person, probably apparently that can blend that can blend in. So yeah, that's how I interpreted that analysis of this app about the extroversion, selected extroversion, that is. And with the logic part, yeah, maybe it's an acquired thing for me as well. I mean, in my career, I have to be logical. It's like I remember way back in college, a professor of mine, uh, I still have it in my heart. It's like it hurt. It it I felt hurt when that professor said that thing. It's like it took me like over how many weeks to get over that. It's like I keep on bringing that up with the conversations with the classmates, and this is what she said about, you know it's like she was I felt like she was trying to um uh lo- what's the term, make our profession like very logical, very on the logical side. And I'm like, and I was offended by that when she said that um you know architects aren't artists. They aren't artists. They're because they're technical. We are technical. We have to be technical. We're not artists. And I'm like, what? No, that hurt. You hurt my feelings. And that's like, because um yeah, I chose this profession because I have other choices before, but then I chose this because it was the closest to my heart, even though I really don't. It's not really my first choice. So it's. I thought it's on the it's close to the arts, although it has numbers, of course. But they said it has small maths, but they lied. There's a lot of maths in it. But yeah, that's quite my one of my weakness before. It's numbers. So she was like, uh, "We're not artists. We're not artists. We're not creatives. We're technicians." So like, it took me a lot of weeks to get over that. It's like, what did I choose a wrong profession here? Because it was really devastating when I heard that, because art has been my lifeline ever since. It's like it made me survive a lot of things, a lot of my dark times, before college. So um eh, hearing somebody tell me that I'm going to be stuck in a 5-year degree, and telling me, what you thought of your lifeline as something that will hold you together right now, is you're not so after college, reality hit. And the truth about it is, that professor of mine what that professor of mine said was true at some point. Yeah, we're technicians and we have to be logical about everything. It's like we're dealing with numbers, with measurements and things like that. I mean, you can't really just design something without considering a lot of things that's logical. So even those buildings that doesn't look like logical, it has logic in them, in them. in a lot of ways. So maybe that's why I had this, the AI and analyze me in that way, because I really have to be logical. I have to be practical and technical. Actually, I still paint, I still carve, but it was a long time ago already when I started to focus on my career. I was all technical. I was all doing this 3D stuffs, and the plans. It should be technical, but of course you have to put some creativity in there as well. Like you have to. I mean, that's how you make the spaces beautiful. But at the same time, you have to um, consider a lot of factors, logical, technical factors, and psychological factors, most especially. That's one thing I like about the process. Now I'm gonna share with you some of my creative process um, that I do with my with my profession. Um, I'm gonna share those with you. How I start things, how I do things with the design process next time. Okay. Right now, actually, um, this is just a short break that I have. I haven't done research on the previous topics that I told you that I'm gonna share as well. So I have to take time for that. But right now, it was fun, this thing. So I thought I'm gonna share them with you, and maybe you're interested about this thing, so you can do the same thing as well. It's insightful at the very least. So we're ready. We're going to ask AI. You're gonna tell it about our MBTI. So Jem, I am an INFJ. What does that say about me, and compared to your graphology analysis?
That's fascinating. Knowing you are an INFJ, introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging, gives us a great framework to compare against the graphological analysis we performed. I need to pull up some standard information on INFJ traits and how graphology theoretically maps onto them to give you a meaningful comparison. I will also check if there are any known associations between handwriting styles and the judging J preference. As an INFJ, you are often described as the advocate, someone who is deeply insightful, principled, idealistic, and organized. Here is a direct comparison between the general INFJ profile and the handwriting analysis from the image. 1. Conscientiousness, the point of agreement. This is the strongest area of alignment. INFJ trait. INFJs are often described as being highly organized, disciplined, and goal-oriented. High conscientiousness. They value integrity and work hard to achieve their ideals. Graphology analysis. The handwriting showed firm pressure, clear structure, and angularity, which strongly correlated with high conscientiousness, disciplined focus getting the job done. Conclusion. Both systems point to a writer who is structured, goal-directed, and reliable. The notes themselves, being structured list items about self-improvement, reinforce this disciplined, goal-oriented approach consistent with the J, judging, preference. 2. Extroversion/emotional expression, the area of contrast. This is where the perceived difference likely lies, due to the nature of graphology. INFJ trait. INFJs are introverted, meaning they recharge alone and can be reserved. They are feeling F, dominant, prioritizing personal values and empathy, though they can be guarded about expressing deep emotions. Graphology analysis. The large writing size pointed toward extroversion, and the heavy pressure indicated intensity/forcefulness. The upright/left slant suggested being emotionally guarded/withheld. Conclusion. The handwriting suggests an outwardly energetic or forceful presentation, large size, heavy pressure, that conflicts with the introverted nature of INFJ. However, the upright/left slant aligns well with the INFJ's tendency to be reserved and guarded with their inner world, even when they feel things intensely. Summary of the contrast. The handwriting shows the behavioral manifestation of a highly driven and controlled person, high C. The INFJ judging preference often manifests as organization and planning, which aligns with the structure and discipline seen in the writing. The INFJI introverted preference aligns with the controller's passionate idealism and the deep, forceful beliefs they hold, even if they are introverted in their execution. In essence, The writing seems to display the disciplined, action-oriented effort an INFJ puts into their goals and values, rather than showing their preference for quiet reflection. Would you like me to look into graphological interpretations for the intuitive N or feeling F aspects of the INFJ?
Interesting. So there are quite some contrasts, but uh, I guess yeah, the AI did not take into account the social chameleon-like um, tendencies of the INFJ, so it could be right about the extroversion. Yeah, maybe we can expand further about. Okay, yes, please expand further. Explain further about the N and the F, please.
Since you're an INFJ, let's look at how graphology might interpret the intuitive N and feeling F functions, contrasting them with the features we observed in your handwriting sample: heavy pressure, angularity, upright/left slant. Graphological interpretation of INFJ's intuition N and feeling F. Graphology often links internal, abstract processes like intuition and value systems like feeling to subtleties in the writing that might be harder to see clearly in a short note, but we can hypothesize based on common graphological conventions. Feeling, F versus thinking, T. INFJs use extroverted feeling, FE, as their auxiliary function, meaning they are deeply attuned to the emotions and needs of others. INFJ trait, FE. Closing parenthesis. Graphological interpretation, alignment/contrast with sample. Empathy and altruism, often seen in open, rounded, or flowing connections, garlands, indicating warmth and openness to connection. Contrast, your writing was primarily angular and disconnected, print script, which graphologically leans toward criticality or self-reliance rather than overt warmth/agreeableness. Deep values can sometimes be indicated by strong, heavy pressure, as the writer feels things intensely. Alignment. The heavy pressure in your sample aligns well with the intensity of an INFJ's core values and deep internal world. Guarded expression. An upright or left slant suggests introversion and emotional reservation. Alignment. The upright/left slant fits the INFJ. The heavy pressure suggests the intensity of your feeling nature, but the angularity/print style suggests you are filtering or guarding the expression of that feeling outwardly, aligning with your introverted nature. Intuition. N versus sensing, S. INFJs lead with introverted intuition, NI, meaning they focus on abstract patterns, deep meaning, and future implications. INFJ trait, NI. Closing parenthesis. Graphological interpretation, alignment/contrast with sample. Abstract/big picture, often reflected in the upper zone, loops in L, T, H, showing imagination, or in the baseline showing forward movement. Unclear. The short sample doesn't give enough information on upper zone loops or a long baseline. Focus on meaning/patterns can sometimes lead to complex or artistic stroke work, or a highly personalized style. Contrast. Your writing is quite simple and functional, like note-taking, suggesting the expression of NI is happening internally, not through decorative strokes. Forward-looking, often shown by a consistent rightward tendency, or a forward momentum across the page. Neutral/slight contrast. The slant was mostly upright/slightly left, which traditionally suggests a more reserved or present-focused style rather than a purely future-oriented drive. Summary for intuition, N. The handwriting doesn't strongly express the abstract, pattern-seeking nature of NI outwardly. This supports the idea that the NI function is heavily introverted. It's what's happening inside the mind, deep insights on self-talk, etc., not what's being freely shown on the page. Final synthesis, INFJ versus graphology. The handwriting sample appears to be a reflection of your judging, J, and introversion, I, characteristics mixed with the intensity of your feeling, F, convictions. 1. The action plan look. The high conscientiousness, structure, pressure, angularity, is the method you use to achieve your deep idealistic INFJ goals. You aren't passively dreaming, you are forcing structure onto your ideals, like reframing self-talk. 2. The filter. The upright/left slant acts as the introverted filter, keeping the high energy, NI/F from becoming overly expressive or outgoing, E. If If you wanted to see a handwriting style that graphologists associate more with classic INFJ softness or idealism, you might look for rounder, more flowing connections and perhaps a more pronounced right slant, indicating emotional openness, which are not strongly present here. Would you like to see what features graphology would look for if someone were highly introverted and feeling dominant?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's what the AI is telling me. I'm somehow not a pure INFJ, so I don't know what I am. But yeah, based on the analysis, I'm not like. I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna ask it another question. So you're saying that I am not a pure INFJ because of what my handwriting looks like. What am I then?
That is an excellent and very important question, and I must clarify my previous statements to avoid confusion. No, I am absolutely not saying your handwriting proves you are not an INFJ. Here is the crucial distinction to remember. 1. MBTI is a cognitive model. Your MBTI type, INFJ, describes your innate cognitive preferences, how you are fundamentally wired to process information and make decisions. This is generally considered stable. 2. Graphology is an interpretation of expression. Graphology attempts to describe your outward behavioral expression and current emotional state as reflected in motor skills. Why the handwriting might seem different. The contrast we discussed doesn't mean your core type is wrong. It means the way you expressed your INFJ traits in those specific notes emphasize certain behavior. J effect. The judging J preference in INFJ often translates to a desire for structure, closure, and planning. The handwriting structure, firmness, and angularity align perfectly with a strong J preference being actively engaged. Especially the intensity. The heavy pressure is likely the signature of your deep feeling, F, and intuition, N. You feel things with intensity and are focused on your core values, even if you write it down in a very controlled, thinking style. In short, your handwriting looks like a highly disciplined, value-driven person.
So yeah, actually I have written my dream earlier. So I really have a different style of writing whenever I write something that's like it's very urgent because dreams fades in our mind, and I have more cursive, like I have more curve in those handwritings. Actually, I also thought of sharing those with you. Like I read some people asking how to write dreams, how to interpret them. So I've been fascinated with that since my high school days. So that's like 20 years ago from now. 20 years ago? Yeah, 20 years ago. So I have those dream journals before, but um, unfortunately, I burned those down together with my other dark artworks. I have a lot of dark artworks way back then, and I feel like it's weighing me down. And I I regretted trashing all those already. It's Yeah, I burned them down, so I don't have any way of retrieving them. Unfortunately, I have surviving artworks, but they're not really the darkest ones. So yeah, but it's really my dark times before, and that's why I said art has been my anchor and my lifeline, because that kept me alive. Art has kept me alive for so long, and yeah, I still can make them if I put time in it. Yeah, I miss painting, honestly. But right now I'm into another art form, into tattooing, and honestly, I've had small time um, exercising it as well lately, because we're busy. um, yeah, I'm juggling a lot of stuffs. So yeah, that I'm still, yeah, I'm in the studio. So not any time I can practice them when my time feels better. So that's all what I wanted to share with you today, guys. um, if you're interested about knowing about this, and doing this with yourself as well. Like, you have any AI app, and just upload some of your handwritings there that you think reflects you, and then let it, just ask it to analyze you through graphology. And then, yeah, have some small conversation with it, if you're confused, if you have questions. It's really interesting, and you can contemplate about it. And yeah, just don't do it in the middle of the night or past midnight, because it's not gonna make you sleep after, if you're really into this. So yes, um I'm excited to do another episode. I have a lot of topics already, so I'm gonna utilize my rest times um with doing this interesting stuff for me. I hope it interests you as well. Like, you do these things with yourself if you're into self um, discovery. So see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching again, and leave a comment if you have thoughts and questions. So let's talk there.